Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, The Black Widow here. So I'm coming to you with a rather unique unboxing, and then I'm going to do a little care video on it. And basically I will get it out and I will show you what's in here. I'm going to give you a little hint that there might be some blood shedded. So I don't know, give it a guess. So I'm going to open this up and you'll get a good look at what's in here. Okay guys, so I have managed to unbox the Leech and it is in here, as you can see, and it's in like this like gelatine, it's not gelatine, I think it's like a water based, it's like water bug gel, I guess. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get it out and make sure that it's okay, put it in some water to get this bug gel stuff off of it, and then we will take a closer look. Okay, so I have managed to get him out. He is alive and well, or she. Leeches are hermaphrodites, so they have male and female sexual organs. So they don't really have, I guess, a specific gender. If you put two leeches together in the right environment, they will create babies. And he's pretty big, so he looks like he may have already fed, which means I may not be able to do that part of the video. What I'll do is I'll turn you guys around so that you can have a look at him, and then I will sort of get him out and see what he's like. So this is my leech, and I personally think that they are quite pretty. Look at all the patterning, and it's just like a little slug. I mean, it's really quite fascinating and quite cool, and you can see it just searching around right now. This is not what it will be staying in. I'm actually going to house it temporarily in this bottle here because I don't have a nice glass sort of enclosure for it. So I mean, it's just what I thought it would be. It's really slimy, and let's see if he notices me at all. He should be able to sense that I am in here, and he's definitely having a feel around. I could just get him out, I guess. I don't know if he wants to or not. I've now got bug gel all up my fingernails.
What's wrong, Peppa? I can't whistle, but everybody else can.
So interesting. So before I continue the video and get him out, I'll just explain a few little things. This is a medicinal leech, which means it's a parasitic leech, which means it does feed on blood, human blood, or any kind of blood for that matter. And they will feed and they will engorge themselves, and they will get bigger and bigger and bigger, and that will kind of do them for the year. They then won't really feed again for another year, maybe even a little bit longer if they really have their fill. I'm just watching it because it's climbing all over the place, and I don't want it to come sloshing out everywhere. And so yeah, what it has is it has jaws like this that move in this motion. It's like a Y shape, and they kind of move like this when they attach onto your arm, or you know, however you would like to do that. So I'm going to get it out, and then I will get the camera back rolling and show you guys a bit closer. No problems at all. You can't really feel an awful lot. He just kind of moves around, and I'm not sure that he's hungry. He or she is a fairly decent size. I'm just trying to be really careful here so that he doesn't fall off, because they can slip and slide very easily. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the camera down, and I will let you know if anything more interesting happens. Okay guys, so here it is. It is latched on perfectly fine. All I did was use a tiny knife to make a tiny little pinprick cut into my arm, and then I just put the leech near it, and it immediately could scent. And as you can see just here is the leech feeding right now. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I can't really feel much of anything. Okay, so here it is, and it's feeding, and I will tell you what I can feel. Every now and then when it moves its jaws, I can feel like some small pinching sensation. It's nothing worse than having your blood tested, or even, it's not even as bad as that. I mean, it's really nothing, and this little one is going to get fatter and fatter and fatter, and I just think it's going to be really interesting to watch. So I'm going to turn you guys around. See, yeah, see, it stings a little when their jaw is moving, but again, it's not terrible. It just it really stings. I mean, it takes you by surprise, but again, it's really not that bad. I know I'm sort of going, ooh, that's because one minute you can't feel it, and then the next minute you can feel it. But it's really not that bad at all. It's really not. So all that can be done now really is that you just leave it on there, and it'll have its fill of my blood, and it'll expand. I'm going to take a photo of it, and then I'll take a picture of it when it's finished. So this funny little creature could be sat here for a good 40 minutes up to an hour if he wanted to. He's obviously thoroughly enjoying my blood. He is completely latched on. I want to give a very quick disclaimer right now that when he is finished, the likelihood is that he is going to leave a big trail of blood behind him. What I mean by that is that leeches actually have an anticoagulant saliva, so that when they feed, the blood can't clot, so they can easily draw it in. And so when he does detach, and how you'll know that they are done from feeding is they will simply fall off. So you kind of want to keep, if you have a leech, you kind of want to keep an eye on them and just sit calmly, let them do what they're doing, and they will just fall off in their own time. When they fall off, you can put them back in the water. They will probably be lethargic, and they will want a nice sort of just chill out to digest their meal. Sorry, I've just realised that my M. balfouri. So I've just literally, while I'm filming a leech video, realised that my M. balfouri are attempting to pair again. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, so yeah, it's feeding away. It will drop off when it's done and it's had enough. Oh, see, that stung a little bit. Okay, that stings a bit. So it is really chomping down now, getting at my blood. And I've said it stings. It does sting. But it's really not that bad. It's not even as bad as having your blood taken. So I'm perfectly fine with that. If you were ever in a situation where you wanted to get a leech off you, sorry, I've got my eye on my balfouri again, because there is some mating attempts going on, but I'm not sure the female's looking particularly like she's interested, and more like, oh, sod off. I'm just, I'll keep a close eye on that. And yeah, so he's already getting fatter. I can see that, and I can see him moving, and it's drawing all the blood in. It's nothing worse than like a small pinching sensation. I guess you could almost describe it as like little needles being sort of gently put in. It's really not that bad at all. I'm not squeamish whatsoever, so I mean, this to me is not a big deal. I've always wanted to have a leech. I know that to some people that might sound a little crazy. I own snails and things, so why wouldn't I want to own a leech? I mean, look. And I get to nourish it with my own body. How bizarre is that? I know that again, super weird, but I really like it. So while the leech is feeding, let's briefly talk about how I'm keeping it and why I'm keeping it this way. Okay, so in here is just plain spring bottled water. You cannot use tap water for your leeches. It's not good for them. So I would advise shop bought spring bottled water. It will be perfectly fine in this. You want majority of water, and then a little bit of an area where they can get out if they do not want to be completely submerged. Again, this is perfectly acceptable for it. Absolutely perfectly acceptable. It will do just fine in here. And but I will get a more appealing looking setup. and we have some interesting action going on here. The female actually is being incredibly receptive right now. So this is a day in the life in my house. As you can see here, this is what I have going on in my house at all times of the day. So I've got some M. balfouri breeding over here in the corner, a leech attached to my arm here, and you can see it's still attached. You can see like there looks like to be a little bit of swelling where it's attached on, and that's completely fine. As you can see, it's looking really, really fat, but prepare for the blood, guys. When it's finished, it'll fall off and there will be a lot of blood. So yeah, I was saying, you'll never believe what I've just done, guys. For God's sake, what am I like? Oh, okay, we'll deal with that in a minute because I've got a leech attached to my arm right now. Yeah, so what I was saying was, if you are ever in a situation where you have a leech attached to you and you really, really do not want them to be attached to you, you can use your finger to gently pry away the mouth. I have a feeling that this one might fall off in a minute actually, because I feel like he's getting heavy and that he might actually be done. I will just get this container here in case he just plops off. Yeah, so you can remove a leech. Just bear in mind that their teeth are what's the word, serrated. So if you try to remove them, there's a possibility that you could end up with some teeth in your skin, which could cause infection. So I mean, it's probably not the best idea. The best thing you can do really is just to leave it to fall off. It's really not that painful. It's really not going to harm you. Or go to your doctors if this was to be like a wild leech. I know where this came from, so I know there is absolutely no risk of me getting some kind of parasite from this little one. And as you can see, he is almost fully engorged himself with my blood, which is pretty awesome. And I just think the colouring is really interesting. I can feel him moving somewhat, so I do think that he is probably going to be finished fairly soon. But I will keep you guys updated on how long this takes and when he falls off. But yeah, so you've got some interesting footage in this one. We've got some balfouri breeding over here. We've got a leech attached to my arm, and I seem to have been a bit of a donut and just managed to pour that whole bug gel all over myself. I'm now soaking wet and sitting in it, but there's not a whole lot I can do about that right this second. So I will come back to you guys when this one is finished. In the meantime, I will just kind of give you a little show of what my balfouri is doing right now. Yep, so he's just casually like, excuse me love, I'm gonna impregnate you. I really hope you don't mind. And he is doing a good job. Look, he's right where he needs to be. And he's not even having to lift her up. This is the great thing about balfouris, is that they are so good at being communal. That, look at that. He's not even lifting her. He's just wriggled underneath her and just remaining there and inserting, and just, how cool is that? Okay guys, so he's fallen off and he's looking nice and chunky. So I'm now going to put him in his water because that is what he is looking for right now. There he goes. Put the lid on and I will show you the wound. So here is the wound. It's nothing too terrible at all. So if I just wipe away the blood, 2 seconds. The wound is just here. It's no bigger than a pinprick. It's really not that bad at all. So I am going to tape it up. As I said, it's got an anticoagulant in it. So as you can see, the blood will not clot. So it will keep sort of coming out, which is absolutely fine. You just put on a bandage of some sort, and it'll stop in its own time. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know that it's a little bit unusual. I've had a couple of people that were a little bit like, why would you want to do that, blah, blah. I like all different creatures, as you all know. So if you find this strange or uncomfortable or weird, I suggest you just don't watch it. Although if you're hearing this now, it's at the end of the video, so you've already watched it. It's about educating and learning. These are a living thing that need to eat and feed. There are other ways to feed it. However, what I had on hand was my hand right now, so that's what I did. I honestly don't see a problem with doing it, especially if you know where your leech is coming from. There is absolutely no harm in me feeding it off my own blood. It's not harming me, it's not harming the leech. In fact, it's doing the leech fantastic. It's now looking fat and healthy, and it's going to thrive. And this particular leech, because of its size, it will need feeding around 3 times a year until it's a little larger, and then you can feed it just once a year. Again, I don't have a problem with doing that at all. If you're the type of person that has a problem with blood, then I really would recommend that you don't get yourself a leech, because even if you don't feed it from your own blood, you are going to have to feed it blood at some point. So yeah, they're really easy to care for. He is now one very fat little leech, very happy feeding little leech. And I will show you once more the wound site, and then I will leave you guys to it. So if you guys enjoyed this video, do thumbs it up and comment something down below. Hit that subscribe button if you are new to this channel, and feel free to comment whatever you like. If you thought that this was disgusting and you don't want to see it ever again, feel free to comment that. That does not mean that I will not do this kind of video again, because there are people that are genuinely interested. Let's not forget that these types of methods were used in healthcare once upon a time. People still use them for therapeutic reasons. So this is not just some crazy oh, let's, just let something suck my blood. I donate blood regularly as well. I have quite a rare blood type that's quite highly sought after, so I donate blood regularly. So I really don't see this as a big deal. So yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really hope you guys learned something new about leeches, and that they're not like these scary things that come out of the water and just want to chomp you up. It's really not that painful. But I am going to do a viewer discretion right now to say that what is about to come up is a little bit bloody. So if you are of the squeamish disposition, do not watch this footage right now, because I'm going to show you my arm, and it is bleeding. So just turn it off right now if you don't want to see what's coming up. Okay, so the bite wound is here, and I am bleeding. It's really not that bad at all. I'm gonna bandage this up now, and I will be good to go, and it will stop bleeding in a sort of 24 hours. Again, it's only a mild bleed. It's not going to be anything life-threatening, so please guys, nobody worry about this.